Youth is the name of the game for the Predator, so where do we sit with this current prospect pool?
You're Locked On Predators, your daily podcast on the Nashville Predators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everyone? I'm Jack Williams. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. The Nashville Predators have a prospect pool landing in the top 15 in the NHL, but it feels like it's only time before this group really starts blooming. Today, we'll chat about whose stock has been on the rise, who's been falling, and who could crack the roster next fall, going straight down the list of those categories here. And I have a lot of notes here, a lot of guys that I want to talk about. So we're going to roll right into it here and talking about the up and up. And fortunately, this is the side of the list that's going to be the longer one. There are a lot of prospects for the Predators that are performing at a really high rate, a really impressive rate. There are guys that I did leave off this list. Doesn't mean they're performing bad. Doesn't mean they're performing well. They might be in a little bit in the middle. It's only my opinion, but these are the guys that I think really stand out here. I had a few rules when talking about the prospect pool specifically. This is going to be the 2022 draft to the 2025 draft. Have not played a full-time role on an NHL team. So Matthew Wood, you are out of the picture right now. And we'll just jump right into it from there. Those are the only rules I have in place. Cole O'Hara is the first guy I have on this list. 2022 fourth rounder. Clearly, the Preds were eyeing him at the end of the season here, got into the final game of the season here. A little bit of a reward, kind of filling injury gaps a little bit more. Just exciting overall for the kid to get his chance. Played really well in that final game in Nashville here, and rightfully so. It shows up in the stat line here, 44 points in 67 games with the Admirals. And he put up this number in his first professional season. He played, I believe, 3 or less games in last year, so this was his first full-time season as a professional. He looked real good. 44 points in your first pro year is nothing bad at all. This is a good player that moves really well on the ice. Is progressing at a really good rate, especially for a fourth rounder, and blooming far ahead of the guys that have been selected in the first round in the past and the second round as well. So, I mean, this is a good move for Nashville, good development that they're seeing out of Cole O'Hara, and could be a good piece on the right wing as well into the bottom 6 here. This is a guy that we could see a little bit more regularly in this Nashville lineup, depending on how well he shows out at training camp, how well he shows at the beginning of the season for Milwaukee, just how much is he going to offer to this group here in Nashville, and how much are they going to want him here a little bit more. He got his introduction this past season in that final game, so they are familiar with his game. Andrew Brunette is familiar with what he's getting from a guy like Cole O'Hara, so we might see him in the lineup a little bit more, but he offered a lot of value this year. He's a good prospect, and it's going to be good to get him in his system a little bit more and possibly see his name in Nashville a little bit more as well. Ben Striden is a name that I want to talk about that I didn't know much about until today when I did the research on this episode that we're doing here. In the 2022 7th round, had a fantastic season with the new University of North Dakota, 35 points in 38 games, a plus minus of 15, and got Nodak all the way to the Frozen Four as a 7th rounder blooming right now. Kind of went the right way about it, went the NCAA route, improved his game here, as we've talked about many times in the podcast. As for the development of prospects and young guys, the NCAA is the place to be. Ben Striden is a great example of this, and is going to be a great benefit to the Milwaukee Admirals next year. He played his first few games this season towards the end of the year with the Admirals, got into the lineup, got a feel for what the pro season would look like, a little bit of taste of it. It's going to be great to see him in a full-time role next year, how he will adjust to the pro level, and possibly where he could land. Is he going to be more of a Milwaukee guy? Is he going to be more with the Preds? Where is he going to land in here? He might fall to Atlanta as well. We have some guys on this list that have fallen to Atlanta, but this is a guy I don't feel like a lot of people are talking about here. Ben Striden just had a great year with the University of North Dakota. Wanted to throw him onto this list, and just a 7th round gem here. There aren't too many 7th rounders you can say are really producing for you and have a chance to play in the NHL, let alone get into the farm system. This is a guy that looks like he can do it and just went the right way of working hard and doing it in the NCAA. Felix Nielsen, 2023 second rounder, had a good year in Sweden at center, 40 points in 50 games. It's a lower number on the center end that you'd be looking for from a second rounder. However, you are playing in a pro league, so you have kind of a step above the NCAA and the CHL, saying that you are getting pro minutes in there, but 18-point growth from last season as well. That's always a great thing to see. This could be a good center to get in the system as well. I would love to get him over into North America, into the United States, get him into Milwaukee, see where he fits into everything else. Mainly, it's going to be exciting to see him at dev camp a little bit more and look at how he compares to these younger guys. How much is his game going to stick out compared to everyone else if he's still eligible for dev camp as well? I'm not sure about the rules about eligibility for that really, but his contract in Sweden is coming to an end, which is the good part, which means he'll be coming over to Nashville in the United States at least. So, I mean, this is a guy, in my opinion, that's been working pretty well, has gotten the center numbers up a little bit more. I think they're going to take a little bit of a dip when he comes over to the AHL in North America, just because of the way of the beast and what it is that, you know, the AHL and NHL are two of the prime leagues in the world. Even in the AHL, it's second tier, but it's one step above the top pro league in the world. So numbers like that are going to fall a little bit more. Nothing against Sweden's league. It is one of the best leagues in the world, but it's the dip that comes with it. It's the beast that comes with it as well. Felix Nielsen, I'm going to be excited to see how he does here as well. Aiden Fink, another 7th round gem in the 2023 draft. We really, again, you don't really see 7th rounders jumping out like this and having such upside like this. This is something special that the Predators need to hone on to and take a lot of pride in, is that you have 7th rounders jumping off the board and really giving you something to look for, something really exciting. And you have two doing that between Ben Striden and Aiden Fink, who is just even further ahead than Striden is right now. Had a really great college season with Penn State this year, 38-30, played in the Spangler Cup with the U.S. Collegiate Selects, had a great run there in that holiday tournament, was able to get all-star status and was playing against pro teams in that tournament as well, was able to come to Milwaukee, had a great early stint in Milwaukee, 10 points in 6 games. Unfortunately, couldn't get into the final game of the season with the Predators due to visa issues, which feels like just, it's extremely aggravating as well. I think, in my opinion, I feel like this guy has more upside than Cole O'Hara does, and just, he offers a ton. He's had such a good adjustment to the pro game. Again, another guy that has done it the right way, going through college and really letting his game grow and develop, and then finally taking the step over the pro and showing with confidence, I'm ready to go. I'm ready for this as well. This is a guy I hope that we see so much more in Nashville, and that will be, if we're not going to see him a lot, is going to be one of Milwaukee's heavy producers, which will be a exciting thing to see here. But again, these 7th round gems, y'all, we just got to celebrate this a little bit more. These 7th rounders, usually, and I'll be frank with you guys, usually 7th rounders don't really turn out to be nothing. And to have 2 producing at such a sound rate that you could possibly see them in the lineup further down the way, that's a way to celebrate as well. So Aiden Fink, fantastic. Igor Surin, we talk about enough of him on this podcast. 2024 first rounder. I mean, Nashville's frothing at the mouth to get this guy to North America. Just producing at a solid rate. He's a man-child, well-built, just built different, just embodying the Russian style of hockey, playing well, 43 points in 57 games this year, has a chance to win his 2nd straight KHL championship with Yaroslava Lokomotiv. But I mean, what's there more to say about Igor Surin other than he is a phenomenal prospect, and it's going to be a massive moment when he finally is able to get into this Preds system here, whether that be in Nashville first or Milwaukee. Either way, he's a guy that everyone looks forward to seeing everywhere at dev camp and is going to be exciting to see in this Nashville Predator system here in the future. Victor Norringer is a guy that I think really benefited from making the move from Sweden over to the USHL, is going to be playing in the NCAA next year, taking the right step and saying, I'm not ready for pros yet. I want to see how well I do in the North American developmental system in the NCAA with Boston University. It's going to be interesting how he makes that adjustments. He dominated in his first year in the USHL, 49 points in 48 games, 11 points in 12 games. So the right step to make for Victor Norringer coming from Sweden, obviously playing in a good league out there, to getting yourself into the North American system, getting acquainted, and see how involved you can become here and see what steps you can make, probably getting into the Nashville system, I would say, in the next 2 or 3 years. So, I mean, nice move by Norringer. Great way to see him get some confidence under him, dominate in North America. And yeah, 49 points in 48 games. That is nothing to at all. Again, still have a ton of names on here, But the 2025 draft, in my opinion, has been one of the better drafts for the Predators. And just, it's very early on, but the guys they have drafted, specifically in the first and second round, have looked really, really good early on. One of them being Cameron Reid here, who could possibly get the Kitchener Rangers to their first OHL title in 18 years and to their first Memorial Cup in 23, and possibly win, their first Memorial Cup in 23 years as well. Just fantastic first year captain with the Kitchener Rangers, 56 points in 57 games, 13 points in 17 playoff games. It would be good to see him make the move to NCAA, as we've talked about many times on this podcast before, and I've mentioned probably already here, is that CHL to NHL has a steeper dip than previous years. It would be nice if he get into, I've heard rumors about Michigan would be a good team to see him on for sure. But this was a guy I didn't know a lot about when he was drafted early on in the 2025 first round. I didn't know a defenseman from Kitchener. You didn't know what you were going to get, and they have cashed in big time on Cameron Reid. This has been one of their best producers, one of their best prospects to come out of this. I think he's been debatably one of the better, if not the best prospect in improvement and best stock to invest in this entire year. Cameron Reid has just been fantastic, and he's going to keep going, especially in the leadership sense, especially in the success sense, and being able to lead as a first-year captain his team all the way to an OHL championship, possibly a Memorial Cup. Kitchener looks really good right now. Another guy similar to Cameron Reid that you want to buy stock in immediately, that is Ryker Lee. This kid is a future star in this organization. We all know it. I talked about it, I think last episode, 2 episodes ago, the dirty goal that Ryker Lee scored in the World Championships to the backhand. Man, this kid has the nastiest hands ever. Had a seamless transition from the USHL to the NCAA with Michigan State, 30 points in 35 games in his first year as a freshman. He's playing in the World Championships of the United States this year. That is where he scored that nasty goals, played in World Juniors as well. It's going to be exciting to see, similar to Igor Surin, this is a guy that the Predators are probably just sitting very eagerly and anxiously wanting him to get him into the system, because this guy is a star. This kid is a star, and he is so fun to watch. It's probably what I'm looking most forward to when Dev Camp comes up, watching Ryker Lee and the way he moves on the ice and the hands he has. Just phenomenal. A star. Awesome kid to watch, period. Jack Ivankovic, 2025 second rounder, kind of, in my opinion, was a little bit of a surprise this year. Goalies take so long to develop here, and you never know what's going to happen with them for sure. Jack Ivankovic making the move from the CHL over to the NCAA 2 with Michigan, nearly won the Wolverines a national title. He was their starter this year. He had one of the top winning percentages in the NCAA this year. He's playing with Canada, the World Championships, played with them at the World Juniors, similar path to Ryker Lee, except in Canada. It's going to be interesting where he fits in Nashville's goaltending equation, because you have UC Saros on this extremely long contract. You have Justus Annunen on an extension here, and seemingly in some ways outperforming UC Saros towards the end of the season here. You have Matt Murray, who's kind of owned the starter role a little bit in Milwaukee. It could be a few years out before Ivankovic even gets here, but it's still interesting to think about where he'd fit into this system, and that equation will be very interesting to solve when it comes around, but a very talented goalie, in my opinion, way ahead of the curve. Alex Wang is the final guy I want to talk about. I've talked about him a few times on this podcast here. A 30-point jump from last season. Had 40 last year, went up to 70 in less games. That is 62 compared to 64. 13 points in 16 playoff games. He's likely, in my opinion, too, outperforming what a lot of people expected what he's going to do. Again, another guy making the right move, moving to Harvard next season and playing the NCAA, and watching his game adjust and how well he's going to adjust to that as well. Could get Chickatumi to their first championship in 32 years and their first Memorial Cup appearance in 29 years, as they are playing in the QMJHL championship as well. This is a good kid, another late round pick that is blooming and blossoming, way outperforming as well. A 30-point jump from season to season is fantastic for this kid. And it's going to be so good to see him at Dev Camp and how he matches up and how he's improved over the year and just how much he's going to stick out. That's what I'm looking forward to. But a long list of guys that have had good seasons and really improved here, which is the things that you want to hear completely. But when we come back, we'll talk about some of the guys that need to do some improvement here. It is what it is. But we're gonna hit the hard hitting news right here, or hard hitting opinions, whatever you want to call it. That is coming up right after the break. The hunt for the Stanley Cup is on, and you can trade every game on Kalshi. On Kalshi, you can trade every single playoff game, every series, the conference finals, and the championship. So looking at Kalshi's website right now, they currently have the percentages to win and all of that on the Game 5 coming up tonight. Tonight for me, May 12th. Game 5 between the Anaheim Ducks and the Vegas Golden Knights. Right now, the Golden Knights have 59% chance to win, Anaheim 41%. So say I plug $100 in that I want Vegas to win, and trading that out, I have 60% odds. And if they win, I will get $167 back. Say I don't think they're going to win. That goes up to $244. Would have the odds are about 41% chance trading at $100. That's how it works. And you can just about do this on anything. If you guys see the Kalshi commercials, you can trade on UFO spottings and weather, on everything just in general. On Kalshi, you are trading against peers in a live market, meaning there is no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code LOCKED ON to get $10 when you trade 10. KALSHI, Kalshi, trade on anything. If you've got a sweet tooth like I do, you know how tough it is to find that perfect treat without all the sugar. That's why Cotton Candy 5-Hour Energy Shot brings that nostalgic flavor back in a whole new way. This is that classic cotton candy taste you remember, but with a tasty caffeine boost and zero sugar. It's a quick, easy way to satisfy that sweet craving while keeping things simple and on the go. I've always loved cotton candy, but I can't be eating sweets all day. This is a perfect alternative. The flavor really does bring that throwback fruity vanilla vibe, and it's surprisingly smooth. I like how convenient it is too. It's just a small portable shot that I can grab whenever I need a little pick-me-up. It's become my go-to when I want something sweet without going overboard. Bring on the sweetness with Cotton Candy 5-Hour Energy Shots. Available online now at 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon. So we did the good. Now we're over to the bad now and just needing improvement. And there are a handful of guys on here that have either disappointed or just need improvement in general. And we'll start off with what has become maybe the most obvious, depending on how you feel about him. We're getting to a breaking point with him. It's Joakim Kemell. And he had a really impressive preseason, which is why he earned his spot in the starting roster for the first game of the season here. But it's just been disappointing throughout the entire year. He's really struggled to find his rhythm, especially in Nashville. 3 points in 16 games. You can argue he has not gotten his chance yet, but there's no reason why the Predators should be giving him a chance when he's showing these kind of numbers as well. 29 and 48 in Milwaukee, which is fine, but you really need to take into regard with this guy that this is a first round pick and that he needs to be performing a lot higher than what this is right now. And that what this looks like is if he doesn't get it to go, this pick, he has a lot of value to his pick being at a first rounder 2022. Depending whatever the Predators want to do with him, they can get a lot back for him. And frankly, he is not living up to the first round value that he has attached to him. So Joakim Kemell is going to need a big year this year. He just hasn't been able to get going with Nashville. And yeah, I don't know really what more to say about this guy, except it's been disappointing for him to say the least. He's looked good at times, but just he can't find a consistent rhythm. He can't find his mojo. He's been decent in Milwaukee, but as a first rounder, you just expect a lot more. Tanner Molendyk, I've given this kid a lot of slack before. I still am. It's his first pro season, 23 and 60 with the ads. It's not bad, but again, we have to go back to that first round value of the pick and that it needs to be better. It needs to be higher. Next season, he needs to take a steeper jump. And what happens is these first rounders don't develop. You get rid of them because again, there's a lot of values I've been saying over and over again to what their pick is. Tanner Molendyk, I think he has a very high ceiling. As I've said before, I think he has a good build. I think he has a lot of skill set as well. 23 and 60 is not bad for your first season. In Milwaukee, he didn't get a call up to Nashville. Again, this is a first rounder. His pick has a lot of value to it. He needs to be pushing the value a little bit more. I think there's, again, still a lot of slack for him completely, it being his first season here, but he needs to have a little bit more production next season and hopefully earn a Nashville call-up. And I think if he does that, I think he's in the safe zone a little bit more, but still developing. That's completely fine. Just need a little bit more of a push this coming year from Tanner Molendyk. Callian Lind, 2023 second rounder, who's now in Atlanta. meaning his production was really bad in Milwaukee. 8 points in 26 games, 16 points in 34, which is fine. In my opinion, the Predators probably give him one more season before you trade him off. This is a second rounder. This is something you can get, a guy that you can get a lot for as well as a second round pick. And when you have him sitting in Atlanta, that's just, again, all of this, especially with the draft coming up now, a lot of this is about picks and where you can get on the board, what you can get back, what you can give to other teams, what might be enticing to them to give over to you. Callie Lind is just not it for them right now. And in my opinion, if I was GM, I'd look to be trading him at this deadline. Not this deadline, excuse me, in the offseason, in the draft, to see if you can move up the board, to see what you can package with him as well, because a second's a good pick. Second's something good to work with. And he is not giving the output that the Predators need, especially being in Atlanta. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, but the value at a second rounder, you need way more coming back and not ECHL time. Viggo Gustafsson, 2024 third rounder. He had a low 8 points in 40 games in Sweden, 2 points in 6 games in Milwaukee, 28 penalty minutes. The pick doesn't look great looking at it as well. Seems like it was just a size pick. He just needs to prove his worth a little bit more. I think you need to get him in a regular rotation in Milwaukee. And again, more time completely. I'm not writing anyone off the board. There's always room for improvement. There's always room to show you're getting better completely. But Gustafsson, again, this is a 2024 guy, had an opportunity to really improve himself in Sweden at 8 points and 40 does not look good. We'll really get a feel for him next year when he's a regular in Milwaukee, or if he stays in Milwaukee, if he ends up in Atlanta. We'll see exactly what Viggo Gustafsson is specifically. Teddy Stiga, 2024 second rounder. He had a really electric 2024-2025 season, capped off with that golden goal, the World Junior Championships. And I don't know if it's fallen off or there's two guys, him and Brady Martin, coming up that have really just stayed stagnant. And especially as a second rounder, you can't be doing this. 21 points in 31 games this year. Last year, he had 30 points in 36 games. He was injured partially, but I mean, they're same exact numbers almost. In the World Juniors, he had 3 points in 5 games, which was the same amount that he did the season previous. However, you're coming back as an older guy, having the experience of the moment that you did. You would expect a lot more production on both ends of the ice, specifically too with Boston College, where you're playing with someone like James Higgins, who is a high-end first-round draft pick too. You expect his play, Stiga's play, to increase with that as well, and everything's really stayed stagnant. He would benefit from staying in the NCAAs, in my opinion, one more year. I don't think he's pro-ready. It's not a decline. Your play's not getting bad. It's just you cannot stay stagnant in this league or else you're going to lose your opportunity. So his development needs to continue here a little bit more. He needs to stay in the NCAA this year. I do not think this guy's pro ready at all. You need, when watching Teddy Stiga, to see some sort of improvement or some sort of increase, show some sort of veteranship, some sort of age in his game to show that things have not hit the ceiling with him and things are not flatlining with him. That's not a great way to phrase that. I'm just trying to say that things shouldn't remain stagnant or just level with him. They need to be continuously increasing because this is a second round pick that is shown to be flashy. It needs to live out to it as well. Brady Martin. So 24 and 24 is not bad. You were injured for a good chunk of the year on both ends of it. It's fine. 10 and 10 is not bad. 8 and 6 is really good in the World Juniors, especially when you're playing with guys like Gavin McKenna and you've developed good chemistry and you got to play with Nashville at the beginning of the year. This is just not what you'd expect. And I understand the injury. I completely understand, but this is just not what you expect from a guy that you selected 5th overall. I mean, he's going to be in Milwaukee to start the year here. You just got to see how he does with Milwaukee and see how he's going to progress, because this is stagnant to me. This is not good. I shouldn't say it's not good. Again, it's going into the value of it all. And just this guy was picked 5th overall. A point per game pace is good. It's fine, but you need more out of it. I mean, you're going into a league where you're considered to be statistically eons ahead of everyone going back to the CHL, and you kind of followed a similar pace. Again, I understand there's an injury, and I'll say that over and over again, but you need to push a little bit more. There needs to be a little bit more spark. I think a lot of people feel the same way, where they weren't really too impressed with Brady Martin this year at 5th. Overall, you need to be doing more. As a first rounder, you need to be doing more. He's very young completely. This was his first season after the draft. This Milwaukee year is going to be very important for him, and that he needs to show, again, all this is about value. You need to show your value, and that needs to be done in Milwaukee here. There's a complete adjustment. Completely get it that there's an adjustment from the CHL over into places like Milwaukee as well, but you need to show it completely, especially 5th rounder is here as well. And if not 5th rounder, 5th overall. And if you don't, fans are going to get mad. Everyone's going to start getting upset. And I understand there's a lot of pressure on this kid, but you need to live up to it completely. You need to play towards it as well. And just, especially being in Milwaukee, you need to show that you're pro ready. Jacob Rombach is the final one to round out this part of the segment here. Bad adjustment from the USHL to the NCAA. He had 4 points in 36 games with the University of Minnesota, 12 penalty minutes. As a second rounder, this Foley needs to be better. This is a really bad year. And plus minus a 0. You need a big NCAA season coming up here. You need to show that you can make a better adjustment as a second rounder here as well. This is not good. 4 points in 36 games. And I understand defenseman's role is not scoring, but he's not setting up plays here. He's going to the box. 36 games, you can't argue that he's not getting played. I understand it's his first season of NCAA hockey as well, but you need a big jump up here, Jacob. That's not good. That's really not good. But enough with the negative. Next segment, we will talk about which guys, as all the ones I've talked about, have the best chance of cracking the roster. That will be coming up right after the break. There's nothing like playoff hockey live. The intensity of the rivalries, the crowd, it's just different when you're in the building. Playoffs are some of the best moments in sports, and being there in person is something every fan should experience. Gametime makes it incredibly easy to find tickets, even for those high-demand playoff games, in just a few taps. And with the Gametime guarantee, you know you're getting 100% authentic tickets delivered on time at the best price. I was browsing through the Gametime app, checking out some of these playoff game prices, and some of them had incredible seats, even for games you would think would be impossible to get. The app is super easy to use. You can find tickets fast, and the pricing is all in, so you know what you see is what you pay with no surprise fees. One of my favorite features is the seat view, so you can actually see what your view will look like before you buy, which makes a huge difference. And the zone deals are awesome. You pick the section, Gametime picks the seats, and you save money. Plus, with the low price guarantee and ticket coverage, I feel confident every time I buy. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON, for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Thank you for making Locked On Predators your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. You already live your team every day. Now take it up a level and go ad-free. Join the Everyday Club today and get Locked On Predators with no interruptions, members-only Discord access, and more. Offer just $5 a month or $50 a year. Go to lockedonpredators.supercast.com or check the link in the show notes to learn more. So before we get into who of these young guys could crack the lineup, there's a lot of questions still in the air right now between the regulars in the lineup. That being Jonathan Marchessault. We've heard about the drama and that how the team is not happy with how he's produced. Completely makes sense. It's been very under what's been expected. Completely understand why they're upset. He has a no movement clause, probably some negotiations there of, hey, you have this clause. Where do you want to go? Because we need to get something back for you. And trading him is a possibility for sure. Eric Halla is an unrestricted free agent, a center down the middle, pretty productive this year. His question is he going to get re-signed? Or are they going to offer him a deal? Or are they going to let him go too? Then you go into the guys that have been in the Milwaukee and Nashville rotation here. Joakim Kemell, as we mentioned, has not been great this year. Is he going to be a regular on this roster? Zach Leroux had a really great return from injury into Milwaukee. Didn't really replicate it in Nashville, but was still decently productive in Nashville. Ozzy Weisblatt, kind of did all the stuff you don't see on the stat sheets, but still offered something to this roster a little bit more. Reed Schaefer, a young guy that showed a lot of potential, scored. Maybe would want a little bit more production out of him. Will be interesting to see where they put him as well. So yeah, with all those questions as well. Oh, one more. A guy I do not think they're going to move because they are very stubborn on him. I think they have invested a lot of stock into them, and maybe with a new general manager coming in, this will look a little different. But Fedor Svechkov, and who was better towards the latter end of the season, but spent the majority of the year struggling before Nashville finally decided to send him down Milwaukee before bringing him back up very quickly. I don't think they're going to move on him, but we will see. But as for the names of guys that could crack the Predators roster out of training camp, because it has happened before, Aiden Fink is the biggest name for me because the Predators were obviously interested, wanted to get a look at him first. And if he shows out at training camp, he could have a chance more than anyone else. This is a kid that knows how to score. This is a kid that has done the hard work from the 7th round up, got drafted out of the Alberta Junior Hockey League. I mean, knows how to put the work in, knows how to work well, knows how to work with stars, as we've seen with Gavin McKenna, knows how to be productive at the next level, as we saw in Milwaukee's next step would be to be one of these suitcase guys that go between Nashville and Milwaukee and maybe be a regular Nashville here as well. I'd love to see Aiden Fink on this roster just because he has a great scoring touch. He's an exciting guy to watch, and I think he has a little bit of a push that some of these guys don't offer. I think he has a lot of massive stock that's going up, and I think he could fit well into the bottom 6 here as a starting point. Cole O'Hara, is another great option too. Another guy that flowed pretty well on the ice, looked good in his first opportunity in Nashville, has shown to be a good regular and a productive regular in Milwaukee. I'd hope to see him as a suitcase guy as well coming into this lineup here. Nielsen, as I mentioned before, as I scroll up to remember his name, because I've said so, Felix Nielsen, as I remembered, they're going to need center depth. Center depth's the name of the game. It would be worth trying this guy down the middle or at least on the wing. Had a really decent year in Sweden. Obviously, I think it would start off with getting more time in Milwaukee before they decide to send him up to the big show completely. But I think this is a guy that has a lot of upside. I think if he starts really sound in Milwaukee, we could see him move up pretty quick, but more than anything, the Predators would want to get him some reps in Milwaukee before they move him up to Nashville. But I think this is a guy that could really contest for a spot if he plays well. And then this is a little bit more of a risk, in my opinion, but I think is one that would pay off. That is Cameron Reid. And let's walk together. I think he would benefit from another college season completely, or going to college as well. I don't know if he's ready to make the move up to Milwaukee just yet or into the pro system, but it all depends on what we see so far. But if he was offered, this would be a good 7th to carry, as this is a guy that's going to be leading the future of the defensive unit. Has shown a ton of plus side. I think similar to maybe Tanner Molendyk, you'd want to give him to Milwaukee and see how he fares there before you do anything with him. But I think this is a guy that, he's shown so much plus side up in Kitchener. I think his path's very similar to Tanner Molendyk, and just with this defenseman, you need to see how it performs before you do anything. But this could be a good guy to hold on as his 7th overall and just get Justin Barron out of the system. I'm so tired of that. And then have him run with just the regulars, have him practice. I think this is a guy that could develop into a really good piece. I think his developmental needs to take some time a little bit more, but his stock is just shot up this year. And this is a guy that the Predators, I think, should really be investing in as well. Fans should get really excited for as well, and just has taken a massive step forward. Whether that not being a regular in the Predators roster, I think he could challenge for it. It just depends on how he look at training camp, how he looks at dev camp, and how he stands out overall. But that was prospect talk today. And that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Locked On Predators podcast. At Jack G. Williams on Twitter/X is where you can find all my stuff. The Hockey News Nashville is where you can find all my writing. You can find any sort of Locked On Predator stuff at LO_Predators, Facebook and Instagram. We are just Locked On Predators, that everyday club, $5 a month, $50 a year. It's built for our most loyal fans. You get Discord access and ad-free audio. Great deal. But thankful for y'all. Appreciative of y'all. Love these conversations that we have. We're trucking through the offseason. We're going to have some live commentary coming tomorrow as the Predators front office, what is still there right now, is going to talk a little about their 10th overall pick. And we'll be back in Nashville too. So back home again in Tennessee. But that's all I got. Thank you guys. And I'll see you tomorrow on another episode of the Locked On Predators podcast.